Tonight, Pluto stations retrograde. The mask you wear for yourself is about to crack. Stop everything. Put the phone down for a moment and listen to what I am about to tell you, because by tomorrow morning it will already be too late to prepare. Tonight, at exactly 11:34 a.m. Eastern Time, the slowest, deepest, most unforgiving planet in our solar system grinds to a halt at 5 degrees and 30 minutes of Aquarius and begins moving backward through the sky. Pluto is stationing retrograde. And this is not a gentle pause. This is the moment the Earth stops breathing before the avalanche. Most people will scroll past this. Another retrograde, another forecast, another cosmic headline that fades by Friday. But what is happening tonight belongs to an entirely different category. Because Pluto does not do small. Pluto does not adjust. Pluto dismantles. And tonight, it turns its gaze inward for the next 5 months, from now until October 15th. And during that window, it will reach into the part of your life where you have been performing instead of living, and it will pull the curtain down. Here is what you will learn in the next few minutes. First, the raw astronomical weight of what is shifting tonight, and why your body has already been responding before your mind caught up. Second, where this retrograde lands in your chart based on your sign, and why one specific area of your life is about to undergo an irreversible examination. And third, a practice built for tonight, something physical, something you can carry into the next 5 months like an anchor dropped into deep water. If you have been waking at odd hours, if your dreams have turned thick and strange, if something in your chest has felt heavier than it should for the past several days, stay here. Your body brought you to this moment before your mind knew why. Let me ground this in what is physically happening. Pluto orbits the Sun once every 248 years. It moves so slowly that most humans never experience it passing through more than 2 or 3 signs in their entire lifetime. When a planet this slow stations, when it appears to stop in the sky before reversing direction, the energy does not flicker. It concentrates. Imagine pressing your thumb into a single point on a drum skin and holding it there. That is what Pluto is doing tonight at 5 degrees of Aquarius. Every vibration, every frequency, pressed into one point. And this station is not happening in empty sky. 5 days ago, a full moon in Scorpio, the sign Pluto rules, tore through the emotional basement of your life. That full moon squared Pluto almost exactly. Whatever surfaced during that lunation, the jealousy you did not expect, the grief you thought you had processed, the conversation you replayed 17 times, that was Pluto warming up. Tonight it locks in. The Sumerians did not call this planet Pluto. They did not have a name for it because it was invisible to the ancient eye. But they understood the force it represents. In the descent of Inanna, the Queen of Heaven chooses to walk into the underworld, not because she is dragged, because she decides to go. At each of the 7 gates, she is stripped of one piece of her identity, her crown, her jewels, her robe. By the time she reaches the throne of the dead, Inanna is naked, every title removed, every mask taken. And only then does transformation become possible. That is what Pluto retrograde does. It walks you through the gates, not to punish you, to show you which pieces of your identity were costumes and which ones were skin. And here is where your body has already been telling you what your mind refuses to hear. In the days leading up to a Pluto station, the body responds before any headline is printed. You may have noticed a strange pressure in your solar plexus, the space just below your ribs where the diaphragm meets the stomach. Not pain, pressure, as if something beneath you is pushing upward. Your jaw. Have you been clenching it at night, waking with soreness along the sides of your face? The jaw is where the body stores what it refuses to speak. Pluto stations activate the jaw the way earthquakes activate fault lines. The tension was always there. The station simply makes it impossible to ignore. And the dreams. Not nightmares exactly. Something more unsettling. Dreams where you are in a version of your own home, but the rooms are wrong. The hallway leads somewhere it should not. There is a door you have never seen before, and behind it, a sound you almost recognize. Those dreams are Pluto mapping the interior architecture of your psyche, identifying which walls are load-bearing and which ones were built to hide something you were not ready to see. There is one more sign, and it is the one most people will not talk about. A sudden, almost magnetic pull toward a person or situation you thought you had left behind. Not nostalgia, something sharper, as if an unfinished circuit is completing itself across time. If a name or a face has appeared in your mind unbidden this week, Pluto is showing you where the wiring is still live. Now let me show you where this lands in your life. Because Pluto retrograde at 5 degrees of Aquarius does not touch every sign the same way. It reaches into a specific house in your chart, a specific room in the architecture of your life, and it turns on a light that cannot be turned off. If you were born under Aquarius or Aquarius rising, Pluto is retrograding through your first house. This is identity. This is the face you show to the world, and more importantly, the face you show to yourself. The version of you that has been running operations, the personality you constructed to survive, to be accepted, to be safe, is being examined from the inside. You will not lose yourself, but you will lose the parts of yourself that were never actually yours. The difference between who you are and who you pretend to be is about to become unbearable. That discomfort is the beginning of freedom. If you were born under Leo or Leo rising, Pluto sits in your 7th house. Partnerships, the other person, the mirror you have been looking into every day without realizing it was distorted. This retrograde will not end your relationship, but it will end your ability to pretend the relationship is something it is not. Whether the truth that surfaces is about love or control, about companionship or dependency, you will see it. And once you see it, unsee becomes impossible. If you were born under Taurus or Taurus rising, Pluto retrograde activates your 10th house. Career, public identity, the role the world sees when it looks at you. You have been building something visible, something others admire or envy or depend upon. But beneath that construction, a question has been growing like a root through concrete. Is this mine? Is this the work I was born to do, or the work I was trained to perform? Pluto does not care about your resume. Pluto cares about your soul, and it will crack any foundation that was built without one. If you were born under Scorpio or Scorpio rising, Pluto retrogrades through your 4th house. Home, roots, the ground beneath the ground. This is the most intimate house in the zodiac, and Pluto here is not subtle. Family patterns you thought you had outgrown will resurface. The dynamic you swore you would never repeat will show up wearing a different face. Not to defeat you, to complete you. The wound lives in the basement, and Pluto has the key. For Gemini and Gemini rising, the 9th house. Belief systems. Something you accepted as truth is losing its structural integrity. The crisis is not that you were wrong. The crisis is discovering how much of your life was built on a foundation you never questioned. For Sagittarius and Sagittarius rising, the 3rd house, communication. Pluto here forces you to hear what you have actually been saying. The gap between your spoken words and your lived truth is where Pluto does its deepest surgery. For Aries and Aries rising, the 11th house, community. Some of the people you called allies were mirrors of a version of you that no longer exists. This retrograde separates the connections that feed you from the connections that merely confirm you. For Libra and Libra rising, the 5th house, creativity, romance. Pluto asks whether your pleasure has become a performance, whether the love you offer has become another mask worn not for the audience, but for yourself. For Cancer and Cancer rising, the 8th house, intimacy. The invisible contracts you signed in moments of vulnerability come to the surface, not to punish, to renegotiate. For Capricorn and Capricorn rising, the 2nd house, self-worth. What you own and what owns you. Pluto does not care about the number in your account. It cares about what the number means to you and whether that meaning is a truth or a chain. For Virgo and Virgo rising, the 6th house, daily routines. The rituals you call discipline but may actually be control. Pluto breaks the machine to show you which parts were necessary and which ones were noise dressed as productivity. For Pisces and Pisces rising, the 12th house, the unconscious. The memories you locked behind a door so long ago you forgot the door existed. Nothing visible may change in your outer life. Everything will change within. Now here is what you do with this. Not tomorrow, tonight. Before Pluto completes its station, before the backward motion begins in earnest. This is a practice built for this exact threshold. Find a mirror, not your phone screen, an actual mirror, the kind you can stand in front of and see your own eyes looking back at you. Stand there. Do not fix your hair. Do not adjust your expression. Look at yourself the way you would look at a stranger you are meeting for the first time. Hold that gaze for 90 seconds. Count them slowly. Somewhere around 45 seconds, something will shift. The face you are used to seeing will flicker. A different version will surface, older or younger or simply unfamiliar. That flicker is the mask loosening. Do not look away. After 90 seconds, take a single piece of paper. Write one sentence. Begin it with these words. The version of me that needs to die is... Finish it. Do not edit. Pluto does not respond to diplomacy. It responds to honesty. Fold the paper once. Place it in the darkest drawer you own, somewhere the light does not reach. Leave it there for 5 months. Do not open it. Do not read it. Let Pluto do what Pluto does in the dark. Slowly, precisely, without mercy and without malice, decompose what no longer serves you. On October 15th, when Pluto stations direct at 3 degrees of Aquarius, open the drawer. Read the sentence. And notice how the words that once described you now describe a stranger. The mask does not crack because the universe is cruel. The mask cracks because you have outgrown it. And what lives beneath it, the raw, unedited version of who you actually are, has been waiting in the dark for exactly this long. If something shifted in your chest while you listened, write it below. Not the polished version, the version that made your breath catch. The person scrolling after you needs to see that someone else felt it too. That is how the mask begins to crack. One honest sentence at a time. Subscribe and turn on the bell, because over the next 5 months, I will walk you through every phase of this Pluto retrograde, gate by gate, the way the ancients understood it. And what I will share about the weeks ahead will reshape how you move through the rest of this year. The universe has spoken. What comes next is in your hands.